Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the NA closed qualifiers to the Chongqing Major. That's the one in China. I'm PythianLegume here with the one and the only Cocothedragon. How is it going today?
Oh, I'm doing very much as the weather is, which is pretty much gray, very cloudy, and a little bit of a nice cozy feeling though.
Oh, well, I am all about getting cozy today, and we are going to get as cozy as possible as we have a Phantom Assassin picked up here for JStorm up against Team Team in the first round of this NA closed qualifier. JStorm did take the victory in game number 1, and I don't really think we saw a whole lot of that match at all, did we, Coco?
No, not really. We're pretty much getting in the decent situation really to just sort of cast the second game, get all in that good old streaming mood for us. And not to mention, I'm not really the most intellectual or experienced of a Dota player. I'm definitely still learning, so I was definitely doing some review on the backside of this.
In your review, did Spirit Breaker Darkseer come up at all?
No, I don't think Spirit Breaker would be a top meta pick
Well,
in
just you
this
wait.
sort of
Just you
patch.
wait.
Well, he's very one-dimensional, but I think what's nice about it is he can go. You could technically put him anywhere, really, and he could have a decent priority. Probably goes a 3 slot. You have Darkseid already, and going up against Phantom Assassin might be a good idea to just make sure you have those greater bashes just completely lock down their priority, because they took away so many high tier sort of carries that they're probably going to be going for their 4/5s right now, which you see Phoenix, so you already got one of them under your belt, and now banning those away, you could even take away more, but Darkseer and Spearbreaker are already grabbed on the table.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big combo actually. Like, Spirit Breaker generally would be in the roaming position as a 4 generally. Um, and he has this really cool interaction with the Darkseer, where the Darkseer is just going to surge the Spirit Breaker, which means that his charge is going to go extremely fast and have a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's one of those combos that you see Team Team going for right here. Just because it can be very strong, they got to get something going in game 2, and they're probably going to be looking to get in on this early game to shut the PA down.
Looking for that next ban though. What do you think is going to be though? Like, you might go for a second or third, possibly get some. I think you might need to get some frontline out of the way from both of these teams. Try and like reduce the options. You do have, what is that, Lena getting away?
Yeah, Lena
It's a
getting
nice
banned
one.
out there. I'm still not a huge fan of it, but teams really just use it to pump out that magic damage, maybe get a little bit of a lane dominance in the mid lane. And with the Darkseer Spiritbreaker pickup first from Team Team, you know, that's a combo in and of itself, but it doesn't say a whole lot about your lineup. A lot of the draft strategy is to kind of hide your draft from the other team and make it so that it's harder for them to counter things. So you could guess bans all day, but I mean, it's just JStorm taking out a hero that they think is pretty strong in any situation here with Alina.
Already, you're only 2 picks in, and I feel like Team Team actually has a little bit more of a visible composition, showing the Spiritbreaker Darkseer combo, as you mentioned. The fact that they're definitely going to try and make sure that he creates the roams to try and shut down this PA, so they could try and make sure that there aren't any more sort of steroids to help sort of muddle down their 1s and 2s. And I think the priority for both these teams now is trying to find either a strong offlaner that can take care of themselves, or, well, with Batrider being picked up, you just get more of that sort of secure lockdown to continue to oppress that PA.
I feel like JStorm have just been put so far behind in this draft already. They went for the PA, and now that gives it's a first pick PA. So now Team Team, they get the entire draft to say, you know, we're gonna shut that hero down, and it also puts JStorm on the back foot here because they have to figure out, well, what can we play with this character to make her somewhat viable and get a little bit of farm in this game. So, I mean, the PA is a good hero, got a little bit of a buff to the blur in the recent update, but I just think that she's going to need a lot of help here. She's going to need a very strong lane support to help her out here.
Yeah, and well, with Phoenix being one of them, I don't know how well the second one should be. Dazzle, though, That might be the correct answer, but it's a matter of how well they'll be able to sort of keep track of this very mobile team that TT is thrown out. Morphling is actually a great option for that top priority carry to keep that farm going. He did get a lot of buffs in the new patch, so he's just such a powerhouse to deal with, and it actually sort of throws a wrench into the cogs of JStorm even more, because if you get PA maybe a little bit rolling, Morphling can just take care of it and grab one carry for another.
It's funny that you say that Morphling got a little bit stronger because, you know, he might have a little bit, but he also was very strong in the previous patch as well. It's almost like Ice Frog. Like, we see enough of this here. We really don't need to see him anymore. He is just a very safe farmer. Can also be played Fux in the offlane role, although I don't really think that's going to be happening here at all. But going back to that Dazzle, I really do think that this is exactly what JStorm needs. It's a very strong hero to almost, you know, help the PA be a little bit aggressive in lane. Like, you can go in, use that Shadow Wave, and Phantom Assassin has a big nuke to follow up her blink. So I think that, you know, the Dazzle's very nice, and it almost transitions that defensiveness in the lane to a lot of aggression as well.
I was also thinking that maybe a split pusher might have been great, or someone that can really take care of like solo matchups. Juggernaut, I think, is pretty good at that. You have to correct me on that if it's not, but I think he can sort of be that decent sort of side wave off lane and then come into a fight and help out. But I'm looking that I think they need a little bit more crowd control to sort of help shut down or sort of keep momentum and lock down that Morphling in these fights. So that might be a possibility that for this next couple of bans, and then for the final pick, that might be the thing that Team is looking for.
So here's the thing about split pushing in this matchup. Spirit Breaker is just excellent at shutting that down. His charge is global, it can go anywhere on the map, so if you're split pushing, you better hope that there's a hero behind you. Secondly, I'm not sure if the Juggernaut is necessarily a split pushing threat, especially picked into the Batrider, whose lasso goes through magic immunity. So you do have to be aware of that, and while Juggernaut can just spin and TP out to win, he can't necessarily do that against the Batrider, so he has to be a little bit smarter. And I think it's definitely going to be played in a bit of a different role here. Juggernaut picked with the PA is probably going to be going into the mid lane, and after not seeing the matchup for team, or maybe even they would put the PA mid to try to, you know, dodge the Batrider. That's also a possibility here because Jug Bat is also a pretty good matchup for the Jug. Or at least it's one that he does better in. I don't know, it puts a little bit of ambiguity into this draft, but I think Juggernaut may just try to meet the Batrider in lane.
Very possible. You already saw though that those bans that we mentioned, that team were looking to shut down sort of that frontline lockdown capability. You got Center Warrunner and Elder Titan off the board, so shortens it down just a bit for JStorm. But as you mentioned with like the Jug Batrider matchup, it's very situational on how that's gonna sort of unfold. And with this final pick, I think, or this final ban now, it's sort of on the same table. You just have to get something that makes sure you can really get PA and Jug off the ground, and denying any possibility to do so is going to be great for team. But, you know,
team,
the team of team.
I mean, we haven't really talked about the lineups a whole lot in this matchup, but like these are definitely some juggernauts of NA Dota. We've got IX Mike, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the man with the mustache, heading out team. They've got Ryoya, who has played for several years in NA. Nusham used to be part of Leviathan. Brax is like one of the old gods of NA Dota. And then Sammy Boy is a little bit of new blood, a little bit of hot blood, but he's also a fantastic player, and I think he's the mid for this team right now. And then meanwhile on JStorm, you've got Milan Mu, who is on the second place Digital Chaos team. Forevan March coming in from Korea Dota, and then Bryle, who is, you know, a god in his own right. So, I mean, we've got tons of legends on these lineups, and it's unfortunate that the NA region is so stacked.
Kinda is, you know. I like the Sand King pick, just because of the fact that it's really good at being a disruptor.
Well, disruptor is a different hero.
Havoc. It is, but I'm using it as a description, not as a noun this time, unfortunately. I do still think that it would be good. It's a good pick to just be that fact of being a little bit of a nuisance in this comp that wants to shut down the PA and Jug so badly that it allows a little bit more space for breathing, and it provides that damage at least as well. But for me, I think JStorm, you were talking about how well sort of this lineup of JStorm is in the sense of player skill, right? This talent pool that they have. It could be throwing down the gauntlet and saying, look, we can give you these sort of more visible picks for you to try and create like a counter composition and have a little bit more freedom, and then really just sort of outclass them in their own individual matchups. The final pick being, Outworld Devourer. That's one of my favorites, actually.
The lowest win rate hero in Dota 2 right now is OD. I think we just saw the ending written in the cards.
Yeah. You know, like, I have, like, a soft spot in my heart for OD. He was one of the first sort of heroes I picked up way back in Dota 1. This is a lot of fun. But it's, I don't know, man. I look at these comps and how the story sort of went, and the fact that you made this huge counter matchup composition for Team to just shut down PA and Jug efficiently. You got Dazzle and Sand King to sort of help be the, I don't know, I guess sort of be those little mediators in those skirmishes and sort of off-lane matchups. But then you create this giant composition to do that, and then you end it with an OD. Like, what? Like, is that your late game security? Because Morphling is your late game security, right? Like, what does OD bring to this comp? He does have the invulnerability, right?
He has the Astral Prison, which basically takes someone out of the fight for a little bit. I think if you look at these two lineups, the main story is just Chaos versus Sustain. You got JStorm, they've got a lineup where they have a couple of key ultimates that they really do want to work well, and Dazzle is definitely one of those heroes that you want to kind of endure through quite a bit. You want those fights to be a little bit longer. Meanwhile, for the Dire side, you've got Team. They want chaos all over the place. So they want a Spirit Breaker charging through everybody. They want a lasso on somebody. They want Sammy Boy just shutting someone down through a vacuum of the Darkseer. I mean, there's a lot of different stories here, and I feel like whichever team is able to, you know, enact their game plan a little bit better in these fights is going to be the victor in this one.
Definitely agree with you on that.
So usually we.
So who was it that won? Who won the first game here in this best of 3? Was it Team or JStorm?
Well, if you take a look at the top middle of the screen, you can see that JStorm has a little yellow tick by their side of the board.
Ah, right.
So that's how you tell in Dota.
Bland. It's so much nicer. The UI is a little bit better for that spectatorship.
Just a little bit.
Much. A little bit is a good country mile, I'd say. Nonetheless, though,
yeah,
it's like, as you mentioned, I think the mid lane so it's going to OD for that mid matchup, right, for team, and then looks like it's going to be what do you think, a Dazzle OD matchup?
Yeah,
who do you think really?
Mid. I mean, he's already gone
like,
for 2 mantles.
I've seen Dazzle go mid, and I've seen Dazzle go Desolator, but that's just me. I wonder if, like, who really does win those matchups, though? Like, if you throw OD against anyone and then against on JStorm, I feel like in that mid lane, outside of, like, Phoenix, OD will usually lose those fights.
Well, it was weird. It used to be that Astral Prison would steal intelligence from the enemy laner, which made it very difficult in the end to beat OD. That was kind of something that, it was, at one point they were Team Sigma, they were French. They would do that all the time. We have a lot of voice lines going on here. But the thing about Dazzle, and they actually changed that the thing about OD to make it an AoE, so it didn't really hurt him too much in lane, but it changed his, you know, effectiveness. And meanwhile, Dazzle, like, a lot of people don't realize it, but he's really got a very good attack animation. So it's the lane that I think that Brow's going to do extremely well in. But the question
Yeah.
is, the question with the Dazzle isn't, are you going to do well in lane? The question is more, how are you going to be able to translate that into effectiveness into the mid game? I think that's really what we have to watch with this Dazzle.
Aside from that, you do have the 2-1 matchup in the safe lane on the bottom side. You have Forever going in with that own Juggernaut on his own against the Spirit Breaker, was a Darkseer combo, and as you mentioned, the fact that that sort of synchronicity amongst those two heroes is very strong. I wonder how well they'll actually be able to sort of help slow down the Juggernaut powerhouse that he has. And you have on the flip side, because you have that 3-2 matchup for Batrider, and I think it is the what is it, Morphling? It's a little bit awkward for me because it doesn't feel like the 3-2 is actually that bad for Team because of the safety that Morphling has and that Batrider is able to provide. As long as they just are able to control a little bit of the jungle camps on their own, then they won't fall too far behind, really.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This tri lane is actually really well informed for JStorm. They put Mu in what's usually an aggressive lane, but is able to farm up very well. And like we said, you definitely have to get the PA farming in this match to have any kind of chances JStorm. So if you look at the CS, PA's at 9 for 2, whereas the Morphling's at 3 for 0. Like, JStorm have done an excellent job of controlling this lane, which is excessively important for them.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to have to keep track of, is the fact of how well they're going to be able to just shut down any farming capability. They do get a little bit of the pushback onto their side, which means that they get to farm up even more, and it allowed Sand King and Phoenix to just sort of continue to try to press Batrider away from Morphling to provide any kind of support. Speaking of which,
Burrow strike out on the Sammy boy, and here comes the Icarus dive as well. He's going to have to use the waveform to get away, but look at the health damage that he's taking. He's also forced to morph a little bit of strength there, which takes him to 200 health, and that's very difficult for him to get in to farm this lane now. So top is as good as lost right now for Team.
very unfortunate for him. He's still struggling with that dot. He was very close to dying there. They actually, I think they spotted him out with the ping, but they are being to play it safe. On the other end, though, we do have a little bit of just a rune matchup. Rio on OD did get that illusion for himself just to help with a little bit of clear. He's actually fallen. He's starting to fall a little bit behind from Dazzle because you mentioned that attack animation, sort of giving him better in a sense of farming capability. But definitely try to keep those eyes on the top end, because that's where I think the first blood is really going to be drawn, is on that top side, because of how oppressive that Sand King and Phoenix are going to be against this Morphling and Batrider.
It's starting to get to the point in the bottom lane, though, where Forev really doesn't want to try to play against this Ionic Shell. He will try to farm a little bit near the hard camp. Ooh, but Sammy boy, top lane, forced a waveform back again, and he's going to start to run out of mana on this hero. Bottom lane, though, was where that kill came. Double Ion Shell in from Rioya and, Braxton Nusham. Like, that is a huge amount of damage, and rightly so. Like, the Juggernaut did not want to get in on that. I honestly thought he would be a little bit more survivable.
I thought he was going to play it safer.
Well,
I thought he was going to play more safe, but Brax actually did some really good body blocking, and they were able to get, I think, a couple nice greater bashes in. They got 2 lucky bashes, and that really just sort of secured the kill for him on that side. So unfortunately, the Caster Curse makes it to where top side doesn't really get the first blood anymore. But the thing is how bad is that? Because there's still a K up, which at this point, I wonder, where is that on? It's actually fairly beneficial for the whole team. Everyone's really up, and it's mostly just that bottom side that's really the immense power for team. So might just be all right. The fact that this top side is losing, as long as they don't lose any potential gold, they should be fine throughout.
But at this point, you have to ask yourself, is it really worth it to sack the Morphling, which is basically what this entire match has been going on. He's got 5 last hits in 5 minutes. That is, guess what? 1 last hit per minute. That's not a good ratio. Meanwhile, yeah. Nusham getting gone on near the rune spot here, uses a bulldozer to try to get the heck out of dodge. 5 minutes was the bounty rune time. Didn't quite catch who was able to get which ones, but here comes another set of Fire Spirits. IX might coming through. Will they decide to commit on the Nusham? And they do. The dot is enough to slow him down and make sure that he doesn't make it back to Fountain alive. IX Mike will stay alive for now, but March is making sure that his effectiveness is limited here as well.
All right, so 2 kills already on the board for JStorm, and they were able to actually get 3 of those bounty runes, which is really great news. You only had that one over by Darkseer on the side, but
Ooh,
more damage for Milan.
Onto Milan. But the Morphling is just so far away. This is really what the positioning, the effect of the positioning does to you. He's forced to be so far back because of what the Radiant have done to him this game, to the extent where he just can't get close to the lane at all. And when his team starts to go for a gank, they are getting torn apart. And here comes some more damage on the IX Mike. Charge on the backside to Milan. He will use the Burrow Strike to get through. And look at Sammy Boy. He just can't do anything here. It's so difficult for him to just get into fights at all that he's being rendered completely ineffective in this match so far.
You even had the fact that because Newsham has to be up here, you have this Darkseer Jug solo lane now to just answer that 3-1 side lane, and it gives Jug so much more freedom now to actually catch up with this farming, make sure you can get some more items into the next like few minutes or so. Darkseer, I think, actually is going to try and do some freezing, see if he can do some proxy farming.
Charge coming in on top. Beautiful dodge with the Burrow Strike, but Milan and IX Mike in a whole lot of trouble. There's the Icarus dive through. He's going to try to be aggressive here. Gets 5 napalm stacks from the Moo before he dies. Will Moo be taken down? 11 seconds left on the waveform, and they know everything here. Burrow Strike back onto Sammy Boy, and the blocks not going to be good enough here for Milan, but it's okay. They've got Newsham to go onto as well. Slowed down by the Stifling Dagger, and Milan really wants to get in on this one. Charge through everybody, but it just goes as far as March on the Phoenix, and Newsham is all the way in here. Here comes a Flame Break. Beautiful from IX Mike to be able to get at least 1 kill there. Maybe JStorm are staying a little bit too long, as Moo will back up. 3 napalm stacks on his head.
So much blood in this top side. 3-2, not bad. However, I wonder if that actually, in the end of that fight, right, is the fact that you still only have a couple of kills in this game, not as bloody as most other games that I've really been looking at, and PA for herself is still 1-0. She hasn't lost any sort of potential income. Same as Dazzle. Dazzle is doing all right in that mid lane, who, speaking of last hits as well, has been doing quite phenomenally for himself. You know, 42, 8 and 9 denials, and Jug has actually been able to recover extremely well, 46-14, because of the fact that Newsham hasn't been able to sort of shut him down. Darkseer is just trying to still do that proxy farming as he can, because he can't really contest anything, and I wonder if he'll be able to get more camping, but nice banish there just to make sure that any additional harass from Bryle will be taken away. But
well, here's Newsham trying to get the damage onto the Phoenix, who does end up falling. The Sammy Boy's attack forced to go full strength, but he's out of mana now, and the Tomato once in. Burrow Strike onto 2. Sammy Boy is so low at this point. Is he going to be able to do any damage at all to PA? He will just blink to the high ground and gets out of there. But IX Mike is on the backside. Bryle still getting kills in the mid lane. On the Ryoya, there's a charge through on the Moo. They would love to get him, but an easy magic wand will get him back into a very nice amount of health. Milan's trying to get out of this one. They do not have, well, they don't feel like using the dust. Newsham did have it available, but they know that Sammy Boy really doesn't want to be fighting any longer here. He just wants to farm. And that's exactly what he's going to do as long as he can.
Oh, Braxy. Braxy might get Bryle here.
Yeah, Brax has the Ion Shell on the Wolf. The Wolf chases down the Dazzle, and the repayment is there for the kill on mid.
All right. Well, already Darkseer doing interestingly enough, because he can't deal with the Jug, he's still been able to find that kill and is able to keep his net worth up to par with the Jug as it is. So doing fairly well in that department. But for now, right, like, what are we going to be expecting here in the next couple of minutes? I'm expecting more blood still in this top side of the map. Try and get some more control. You do have bounty runes are going to be up in the next couple of seconds, so you're already seeing that JStorm is looking for that control.
Spearbreaker finds Prep. He wants a bash. Forced to use the spin. Does he have a TP? He does.
Oh, he got the bounty.
Well, he gets the bounty, but he's not going to have time to get out of here, and he's got Newsham staring him down once again. Will he get both? Oh my god, okay, it's actually worth it for Prep here. Using the Omni Slash, I don't really know if I would use that cooldown right here. He goes down anyway. Maybe he thought the Sand King would get there in enough time. And the Phoenix? That's a double damage rune Spearbreaker. I really don't think you want to go in there.
Yeah, I think he used that Omni Slash just to try and waste some more time for SK and Phoenix to get there, but they noticed that, as you saw, there was that greater bash double damage from the SB, so not gonna try and follow that one through, just try and make sure that they can deny any additional harass. Oh, there goes Spirit Breaker.
Spirit
Where is he
Breaker
going?
to the
I'm gonna
mid
guess
lane.
mid? There you
Yep,
go.
with the Ion Shell
Hold
on
it.
top of him as well. Still has a double damage rune. The Dazzle will grave himself, but that gets easily banished by Ryoya. This should be the easiest kill of the OD's life, and in fact it is.
Yeah, that's I think the one good thing that can counter match up with OD is that you can outtrade with that Astral Imprisonment and just sort of outlast that invulnerability and get some damage in the end for some security. Now still top side though, PA and Jug are actually just starting to really press down on this top side. Speaking of which, Sammy Boy hasn't really been able to participate in this game at all unless he has pretty much 4 members with him to try and contest against this JStorm top side.
Yeah, he's got to have his boys. And the thing about Dota is there's always some kind of cause and effect. You put a lot of effort into ganking on bottom, you put some ganking on mid, and then Sammy Boy's left out to dry. So here comes Forev. Remember, he doesn't have the Omni Slash, and that might be a big issue. Here comes the ult in from Nusham. Just taps him on the shoulder, says, look, I'm over here. He's slowed down so much. And he gets the charge out onto Mu to keep him out of the fight. They still want to go into Forev, but with that tier 1 tower going down in the top lane, they are having to run that way. Forev will go down. So that exit route was available for him, but I almost wonder why he didn't just go through his own jungle with his boys. Like, you gotta stay with your crew in these matches.
Yeah, you definitely have to. Spear Breaker, I'm pretty sure is going to start answer bot lane here.
God.
No, actually goes straight mid.
Ryle
Dazzle.
just absolutely wrecked on the mid lane. Like, not even a chance. Couldn't even go for the grave. And, well, we talked about how a Dazzle could be pretty good in lane, but you have to be able to translate that into mid-game pressure.
Well, yeah, and you have to respect this Spirit Breaker who's been being able to do so much work for the past couple of minutes. Once he got that double damage rune, he really got a great turn out of it. The fact that he was just able to find 2 picks in mid, 1 pick in top, and now is converting back to bot to see if they can get this turret in this bottom side. Open it up for Darkseer some more. Ooh, that back clap is so painful.
And it was just kind of difficult for the Sand King to do anything there. It was to the point where Brax would just stand next to him with the Iron Shell on his head, and you kind of ask yourself, what exactly am I supposed to do here? Because you're getting burnt down. You're supposed to defend the tower, charge in on the march. Nusham might pay for it here, but it might be a bait from Team. There's still the healing ward there, so it is difficult for them to actually get in on this fight. But hey, Nusham gets to be a cow charging across the Dota field. Like, this is basically the dream.
Well, of course, and he has, I think, 90% kill participation. He's 1 in 7, so 8 out of the 9 kills he's been a part of for Team. So he's shutting down. He's doing what his composition of the rest of his team wants, but Sammy Boy is not really being able to play his part.
Sammy Boy Omni Slash underneath the Supernova. That is going to be the kill. And Sammy Boy continues to be stifled in this game. He really does need to get going for his team, but in order to do that, Dire side have got to establish more control over the jungle. If you take a look, 1, 2, 3 wards all over that jungle, shutting down Sammy Boy, making sure that he just can't farm over most of the map.
So now SB once again going to be coming to answer. I believe it's going to be aiming for Juggernaut. We'll see if he's actually able to get him, but Phoenix is additionally there. A little bit of a gap though between him and Mike on Batrider, so
it's just
might be going a little bit over his head.
They do know that Omni Slash is down. Ooh. But they can keep going for this as soon as that Blade Fury is done. Meanwhile, they found Mu inside the jungle. Almost a better kill. He jumps over to the Dazzle. Can Mu get out? Waveform is through. Sammy Boy gets a beautiful kill for him. And now Bryle, he's got a backup as well. Vacuum back into the Spirit Breaker, and Bryle gets bashed into Oblivion. As soon as he goes all the way down, there's the banishment. OD gets a free kill as well. That's 2 for Team.
All right, that's what they needed for Sammy Boy to help get himself back into this game. We also have SK still pushing in that top side, trying to secure as many bounties as possible to keep his team on level terms. And now, looking at that net worth, you can see how much that the Spirit Breaker has done. He's sure only 3,000 gold worth in a sense of how much he has in his bank, but he's provided so much for the rest of his team as he's going to be looking for more gold security.
This Juggernaut.
Oh no.
Taken down once again on the top lane. Team never left. He thought he could defend it. He thought wrong. Still no Omni Slash, and he goes down once again on top. And where Sammy Boy is faltering, so is this Juggernaut. I mean, as far as kills go, he's gone into the drink 4 different times this match, only getting 1 kill for him. So that's not really the performance that you want from a Jug.
No, and I was giving him a little bit of commendation in that bottom side for how efficiently he was farming, but you know, when you're able to get so much work on other ends of the map, and for Jug, who, as you mentioned, with this value at 16 minutes of the game and where he is sitting at only like what is he even sitting at right now? He's only got Wraith Bands and Vladimir's at this moment, so he needs some kind of breathing space. I think SK needs to trade bottom lane, get Jug some more farm under his belt, get that gold rolling, and then possibly see if SK can just be that person to deny any kills. And as we saw, Bryle,
you know what? Even when IX Mike dies, he outplays his opponents. That's just how it is. Like, you cannot beat IX Michael.
We'll see. We'll see about that one.
Now, the point of the Sand King staying at bottom to farm is he really just wants to get enough gold for his Blink Dagger, which he's about 200 gold away from right now. So, you know, while he could get the tower, I don't really think that's the point of the Sand King. You really just have to make sure that you're continuing to farm up and get the gold towards your Blink Dagger, because that's where your team really starts to get in the gear. He feels like he needs it for his epi initiation into fights, and I think that as soon as we see that from JStorm, we're going to be able to...
Well, he has enough for right now.
Well, he has enough for it right now. And they may decide to initiate a couple of fights off of this. And this is really where their team starts to get going. Deso on PA, Vlad's for Jug, which is an R for the entire team. And Dazzle gets up to Necro 2, which is a huge amount of tiered items for JStorm to get.
He needs to buy fast, though. There we go. He did just buy that Blink Dagger for himself. So now I think that's where you start to do that translating and sort of put that bot lane farm onto someone else and get some more security. But Sammy Boy is sort of ahead of the game. Team noticed that, you know what, we can do that for our own, get our Morphling under control. He's actually got his Dragonlance and some triple Wraith Bands for himself. So, you know, at this time, it's a little bit calmed down because I don't think Spiritbreaker is confident enough. He's wanting to, I think, get one more item, but hold on, just a minute.
And here we go, Spiritbreaker into the pit. It's taken by the Spiritbreaker. He actually gets the kill. It picks up the Aegis as well. Nusham the God scoured out with the Darkseer's dominated catapult, and that puts the Spiritbreaker in for the entire fight, taking down 2, make it 3. Juggernaut taken out of the fight, and Moo, it's all he can do to stay alive. He picks up the shrine to get some healing for himself. Sammy Boy, he's not done just yet. He sees them. It's on top of the ward. He gets the waveform in. He stuns Moo way out of it and turns into the Juggernaut. Here comes Nusham again with the stun, just charging on in with the surge as well. Bryle is forced to buy back as well, but he can't even save Moo. And Nusham, he'll get that Aegis taken away underneath the tower. Milan's still stuck in here. They don't have the vision just yet, but here comes Nusham. He doesn't have any dust available. He just wanted to charge over to knock the Sand King out of that sandstorm, but he will get away for now. What a fight. That was actually insane from the Spiritbreaker.
That is ridiculous. He's just putting on a clinic right now.
Actually, you know what?
I had a little bit of doubt, but...
I take that back. It wasn't the Spiritbreaker. It was Brax. Brax owned that fight.
That was Brax? What was it that landed it for him? Was it...
Okay, so in order for the Spiritbreaker to charge, he needed to get vision of that pit. Brax sent in the catapult in order to get that vision, which allowed the Spiritbreaker... Oh my god, look at this guy going across the map. This is insane. So he put the catapult in. He surged the Spiritbreaker. He says, Spiritbreaker, you charge now, and Nusham says, okay. And, you know, basically the whole thing was Brax.
Yeah, so, you know, unsung hero Brax still getting that commendation from
Look at that.
You know, the fact that
Look at that. Look at the tip.
Oh my gosh. Nice tipperino right there. I love it. Top quality meme, dude. Speaking of which, though, he's just massive right now, too. Like, he's 9,000, peaking at that 10,000 point, and he's just doing so much for him. And we were talking about how the Darkseer breaker combo is just so powerful. Perfect example right there. The fact that whole Roche fight, which just went over to them in just a massive and convincing fashion, is the phenomenal point for it. So at this point, they are 17 kills, 9,000 gold up as well. So there's not much else to say outside the fact that those two players are playing their comp right, and that's all they needed, right? To just shut down any carry potential from Jug and PA, and they've done it. They have completed that fashion, but you know, it's 21 minutes. There's still a little bit of time. They haven't cracked any shells just yet. They haven't taken down any racks, so I think that's the next thing in their sights is possibly break down maybe this bottom rack and really get the game going.
Ice Mike really wanted that courier.
Yeah.
He just lasted it. So that's a pretty big combo. Or cooldown right there, put out by Ice Mike. So Lasso's down. Dire side know about it, but the thing is, what can they do? I was talking about all of their tiered items that they just got. Here comes Sammy Boy in as the Sand King. Counter Burrow Strike in from Milan, but the damage has already been done. The wall gets put down, and that basically means that JStorm do not want to fight here any longer. Milan taken out in the Sandstorm. The tier 2 tower taken down as well. Team, is it time for a high ground push?
I think it is. They have enough. There's the fortification coming in. So that'll delay it just a bit though, but how much is it actually going to help? You have this massive powerhouse that is now the Morphling and Darkseer just doing so much work on that defense, and of course now with all 4 members coming down to assist, you don't have anything else, but oh no.
Right on into Forev, he's dead. There's nothing he can do. He's just gone after this one. He gets banished and killed. Now here comes the damage on the Sammy Boy, but he's got all of this strength. He waveforms to the back lines. They get out of the supernova. Nobody's getting caught by it. Ix Mike might fall. But here comes another charge on through. Ryoya haven't taken care of him, and he's still got his ultimate. Taking a lot of damage here. Will banish himself to save himself. Here comes the laser. Will it clean him up, the OD? It does. Actually, I think he cleaned himself up on the Necronomicon unit. It kind of burst next to him. In any case, Bryle's the only one left. Phoenix is forced to buy back. Sammy Boy never died. And the tier 2 tower has gone down. I think at this point, team, they lost 3 members. It's probably time to get back. Unless Bryle.
Yeah, you gotta.
How ballsy is this boy? He's going in against Sammy Boy, and Sammy Boy doesn't really seem to care at all. He turns into a Phoenix, and he gets out.
Oh, so much safety with that waveform. It's ridiculous. But Marge is still putting on the pressure. I think he went in over his head on that one, so he knows he has to go back. He has to get out of there. Regeneration rune is up, so either one of those could go ahead and decide, you know what, I don't need to go back at this moment. I can still wait up, get some farm. Oh yeah. So they'll just deal with it, you know, grab it. He has like 2.4k in his pocket right now, so he does need to get a little bit more to really complete. I think what's the next item he's gonna grab, you know?
E-Blade.
I'm still not that great in itemizations.
It's an E-Blade, so yeah, it's just shotgun more.
All right. Oh yeah, of course. I keep forgetting about E-Blade every single time. Even one of my friends keeps reminding himself that he has to get E-Blade at least second item.
You have to get like 3 E-Blades on Meepo.
They're so good.
It's all about the stats, man.
All the stats. It's all it is. Just stat check the enemy team and you'll never lose though. So you just deal with it.
JStorm are definitely feeling the pressure here. They're gonna smoke up. And, well, they go to the complete wrong side of the map. They don't really, if you check out the vision, like, they don't really have any wards up anyway in this area. They're just going for a blind smoke up to the top side of the map, and I believe that's a counter from Team as well, using Sammy Boy to bait.
I think so. But now, okay, so you're getting some vision control on the top side, but your bottom side is weakened. Racks are open.
They might
got haste rune.
Ice Mike looks to go to the high ground, but he's going to find Muins. Now, that's not really who you want to find. The Burrow Strike is there, but it's immediately charged by Nusham. In on the fight. Sand King already dead. They're looking for the Supernova. The Supernova will be taken down before it bursts. And that's a 4-for-1. Easy fight for Team, and this might be GG. It's only the Dazzle left in the top lane. How is a Dazzle going to defend your base from this? You've got Sammy Boy.
Well, you still have...
You've got Brax.
You got buyback on SK and PA.
You do, but at this point, the buybacks just put you even further behind. Like, I really don't think it's going to be all that worth
And that's the gamble, right? It's either you just say, you know what, if you have to do an emergency buyback, they were still low on their timers anyways, so luckily they don't need to. They are gonna lose, I think, at least one Rax here. So range Rax are still up on there, so not too shabby.
Well, you definitely do want to take the melee Rax. That's 4 out of the 5 creeps that are going down lanes. I also like how they decide to allocate their resources in defending their towers. There was a little bit of pressure being put on the tier 2 top by the Dazzle, and they just sent Nushin back to deal with it. He's basically got TP boots with his charge, so you may as well.
Well. Alright, looks like you got your cannon just going and scouting out for the rest of the team, but...
It's Brax.
Alright, like, you're seeing some translations.
He's the commander of this squad. He's the key strategist here for Team.
He is the brains, and you definitely know that Nushim is the for sure. He's been doing so much work on this Spirit Breaker. It was right when they got the double, and then he got the right after that, and he converted so much pressure over the course of, I think it was like 3-4 minutes, that it gave his team so much of a lead, and then following it up with a Roche steal because of Brax and how well he was able to locate and throw that catapult in is the phenomenal part. So the composition was just a little bit of a warning for JStorm, the fact that they first picked PA and then you let them have this Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo that has been doing all of what they needed. And sure, it's a nice little chest bump saying like I think we can outclass you. They did it for a little bit in the top side just because of the 3-2 matchup and how well they were able to oppress Sammy Boy, but now they're paying their dues, sort of giving them a weaker composition in the draft.
I do want to go back to what happened in game 1. So it looked like Sammy Boy played the Puck, which is not really your carry here. It looked like they gave the carry over to Ryoya, but now they put Ryoya on like a more of a farming mid in the OD, and he's really done a great job this match. But if you put Sammy Boy on the carry, it seems like he tilts a little bit less. Like, Sammy Boy is by no means a puck player. Like, that's he's a Terrorblade gyro kind of guy. Like, he's not a puck player by any means. So I think this is just a little bit more comfort for Team in all. Like, sure, he got shut down, but Sammy Boy is used to getting shut down. Like, that's his MO.
I think that's what's the great part about being like a carry player, is that you're used to being just so massively, just so much attention and oppression over to you that you can deal with these kind of factors, and giving sort of those lower priority players a little bit of a big time to shine because they have so much breathing space is what's so great. But speaking of breathing space, IX Mike again, not really having a big time, but he gets the turn.
Like, he just wants his team to be able to fight here. They put the wall down. It's not really the best wall. Omnislash is going through. Bryle's taking a lot of damage from Sammy Boy, and Team just kind of back up off of that. Like, they don't really feel the need to fight too much here. They already dropped the wall. They already dropped the IX Michael Bat Rider. I guess it's not really time to fight.
No, he will have buyback in the next 10 seconds or so because it's gold, but I think that actually gives them some freedom over to the fact that they could take this Roche. They have the pressure for it, so they could try and challenge it, but even then, you got this massive wave coming in on the bottom side. Someone will have to answer that eventually from the side of JStorm, and now you can sort of play both sides of the map.
The surge! Here comes the zoomies. Nushim gets on in there. He gets a charge on the 2. Now he's tanky, and he can survive for most of this. Sammy Boy takes down March. That's a useless Phoenix dead. Ryoya is surged to get away from all the damage that's coming through, and Nushim is just tanking everything. Moose starts to turn his attention to it, but here comes the big Sammy's Eclipse out of Ryoya, and he takes a big fight there, drops it on the 3, banishes the Dazzle, says, no way you're not going to be a TP out of here. And that's an easy 4 slot for Team. And that's just... That
was beautiful map play. And you didn't have a PA in that fight because she had to answer that bot side. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, that's GG, 100%.
Take down the PA, take down the GG, drop a team wipe to end it, and Team looked much better here in game 2.
I think it was because of the fact that, you know...
It was Sammy, right?
It was... I don't know if I'd say that.
So here's what happened. Brax was the commander that game, but you put Sammy Boy on the Morphling instead of a Puck. It just makes more sense. Like, sure, Team
Yeah.
they're kind of relatively new, I guess. Like, players get swapped around a lot in Dota 2, and they tend to, play with similar teams all around the place. Like, you see different players on a lot of different teams is kind of the point. And
Yeah.
I feel like Team are maybe figuring out a couple things here in order to, try to become better. They might not have had a whole lot of time to boot camp, so they're just trying to work their way through things. And in game one, they figured out, look, Sammy Boy don't play puck. That's
Yeah.
that's basically it.
That's step one, right? And I think it's the fact that, like, additionally, you, like, from the start, I think JStorm gave them the shovel, and they were just like, okay, here, you can go ahead and shut down our PA, and you can know that we were trying to go for a high priority and get this super carry on board. But immediately it's like, all right, well, we'll just get something that can completely oppress your carries and then shut you down. And that's exactly what Brax and Shaw did. Is this They just rolled him with the Darkseer Spirit Breaker combo. We're able to just take out Jug, made him pretty much useless, and we're able to then convert that to the top side and then shut down PA and SK. So outside of that, it's like you got the players, you figured it out, you knew exactly not to like put certain players on certain heroes, put them on a more like that Morphling where he can deal with being shut down, and then on the other end it's like, all right, well, they gave us a sort of a easy composition to fold up against and molded it really well.
I really just think it was game plan, and also like IX Mike drafting. He put the Spirit Breaker Darkseer bottom to start, shut down the Juggernaut for long enough for Brax to get a good start, and then he just made the Juggernaut try to last hit underneath the tower without really any support from any creeps, because Brax would just cut all of those, and there was nothing that JStorm could do about it because they were focused on the top lane to get this PA going. And at some point, like, while it did work for a couple minutes, as soon as the Spirit Breaker shows up to the top lane, everything gets shut down because of the advantage that Spirit Breaker got from starting the first couple levels in bottom. So I think that was just a much better strategy and all from Team, and this is going to be a cracking game 3.
Definitely. So I want to see what's interesting on how that draft phase goes. I think JStorm definitely learned their lesson.
I hope so. I mean,
I hope to.
JStorm, they're a little bit more established than Team, but it's kind of NA Dota. Like, a lot of players are switching around all the time, and it is sort of like comparatively the beginning of the DPC season. So I mean, we'll see. Game 3 is there to be played.